Well, this is my neighbour. Well, not actually my neighbour, but it's a baboon. Well, it's a picture of a baboon that I got off the internet, but roughly it shows what a baboon looks like. And where I live, we're absolutely surrounded by them. Surrounded by them. And some people love them, some people hate them because they can be very lovable and very destructive. Let me show you. Hold on a minute. See, there's a lovable, there's an absolutely lovable mother and child. I mean, you can't but love them, etc. But they can be destructive. I mean, there's a baboon actually mugging a woman and trying to get her groceries and her flowers. This happens quite often, and then they get into your house and cause absolute chaos. So you also have people who love them, and they carry flags and they carry banners and everything like that, and they walk around the town where we live in, and they make cars slow down so that they don't hurt the baboons. So really and truly, it becomes a huge problem, and there's some lovely, funny stories about this. I mean, there was a time where a baboon got into the wrong neighbourhood near us, and some dogs got hold of it and injured it. Not too badly, but injured it enough for the baboon to be taken to the animal hospital. And while I was recovering in the animal hospital, and this is the problem. Let me tell you, the problem with baboons is they're so close to human beings. It's actually quite scary at times. They're really close to, particularly when it comes to international global politicians and certain Western leaders whose name shall not be. I shall not talk about, but who got inaugurated. Anyway, this baboon got bitten by some dogs, and was in the veterinary hospital, and a group of baboon lovers, let's call them, to be polite. They ended up going and buying some really exotic fruits like bananas from Guatemala. Only imported stuff would do. And they took these along to the baboon to help with its recovery. Then one certain little old lady baked it a carrot cake and took this into the veterinary hospital. Well, of course, the other little old lady absolutely went berserk because carrot cake is full of sugar and not very good for baboons. So there was this vigilante group got going and were scouring the town looking for this woman who had given the baboon the carrot cake. It really is completely ridiculous. It's the same as a whole lot of in the place where we live at the sea. We have a smallish whales called bride whales, and they have the habit, and nobody knows why, of beaching themselves. It's kind of like lemmings going over a cliff, and they beach themselves. It's a kind of a suicide thing. And then you get all the people, those same people who love the baboons. They actually some years ago headed off to the beach and started trying to push these bride whales back into the ocean, which they did. And then the bride whales just kept coming onto the beach and beaching themselves. And then these people started putting water on them and hugging them. It turns out later that people who know about whales said hugging a whale, a human being hugging a whale, can really be traumatic for them. Anyway, it was decided that the local nature authorities would come along and they would have to put these bride whales out of their misery by shooting them. Well, of course, the local people formed a chain and sort of stood in front of the bride whales, preventing the nature authorities from shooting them. It was completely ridiculous. It was completely ridiculous. People not knowing what the heck's going on. But to get back to the baboons, it's a massive problem, and they can destroy houses. And I suppose it's people who have never been invaded by a baboon love them. People who have been invaded by baboons absolutely hate them. I mean, really, I heard some children screaming once and ran next door to see what was going on, and I took a golf club with me. It was a 7-iron. A 7-iron is always the best iron to use for, golf club to use for when there's danger around. And anyway, I went into this house next door, and there were about 12 baboons in it. And the people who had just moved in were absolutely terrified. There was this male baboon, like the one that the picture I showed you, with its teeth bared, right at the beginning. And absolutely, I don't know why I'm smiling, because it wasn't funny at all. Absolutely traumatizing 2 young kids. One was 4 and one was 2, and they were totally traumatized. In fact, the family moved out the next day, and those kids are still having nightmares all these years later. So really and truly, they're a dangerous animal, and regrettably, some people like to believe that they were here first. They were here first. So that's great. They were here first. They got to have the run of the town, the freedom of the city, if you like. And my only answer to that is, well, then they should take down the fences around South Africa's Kruger National Park, and let the elephants and the lions and the hippos and the rhinos wander into the nearest towns, to go into the nearest towns, and because they were there first, and they should let them wander around the streets there, doing what they want to do and destroying what they want to destroy, because they were there first. So the baboon saga continues. I'm laughing so much.